All right, so the purpose of this video is to talk about where Jesse Bam Rodriguez goes from here. Um, he was signed to Matchroom for his last few fights. Um, he struggled to get signed. He was the only fighter from Robert Garcia's gym to get signed with Mr. Honda from Taken Promotions. Mr. Honda was Robert Garcia's manager, promoter when when Robert was a turned pro. He turned pro in Japan. What's up, JC? Haven't gone live in a while, so I just wanted to hop on here real quick, talk about what are the options for Jesse Bam Rodriguez. Robert recently said that he's a free agent. So where does Bam go from here? Um, he originally, because he was signed to Tekken Promotions, um, he was able to float amongst the American market promoters. The fight that I recorded was in Ontario, California, on a PBC card. The main event was Victor Ortiz. Victor Ortiz ran into some legal problems, and he got canceled as the main event. But the event still went through. I bought a ticket right there in Ontario. I think it's called the Toyota Arena, and I filmed from my seat. So if you want to see one of the Bam's early fights, I think he was 6-0 or 7-0. He fought against a Mexican fighter from San Felipe, and you could definitely already see the sharpness, the footwork, the power. I believe it was an 8-round fight. I didn't stick around for the main event. The main event fighter was Figueroa from Dallas, Texas. Um, so where did Bam go after that? He did that one fight. He did a couple fights with PBC because Mikey Garcia was with Al Heyman at the time, and as a favor to Mikey, Bam was on his undercard. So Bam was on the undercard of Errol Spence versus Mikey Garcia there in Dallas, and then he was on the undercard of Mikey Garcia versus Jesse Vargas. I believe that one might have been maybe San Antonio. I don't remember. I'd have to go look up. I really want to. Start to learn how to use the technology better, where I get to show you my screen. I will do some research. I promise to do some screen shares. I do a lot of data entry. I keep track of Robert Garcia's fight record, trainer record. He has roughly 80 fights this year, about 6 or 7 losses, one draw, one no contest, and one DQ. The DQ was that young fighter that he has out of Tijuana when I think he kicked his opponent. So there's a DQ in his record this year. He's surrounded by great people. He's surrounded by his son, most importantly, Pita Garcia, his grandpa, Robert's dad, Pita's grandpa, the Big G. And then they have people like Felipe Campa, who's an ex-fighter out of Salinas. And then they have a very young 28-year-old coach named Jose Contreras that goes by the nickname Chepe. And then to accommodate the team in terms of making weight and strength and conditioning is Charles Tremblay, Charles Dr. Tremblay. So yeah, the topic is where does Bam go from here? He I think about 2-3 years ago he took a fight on a 6-day notice against Carlos Cuadras. Carlos Cuadras' opponent Sorungvasai got sick or something happened in the last week of training, and Matchroom reached out to Robert to see if Bam was crazy enough to go up 2 weight divisions and fight instead of an 8-round fight, which he was scheduled for, a 12-round championship fight. Robert said yes on the spot. I believe Kevin Rooney asked him if he needed to call Bam and his dad to check, and Robert said no. They're gonna say yes. I know my people. So they took the fight on a 6-day notice. He moved up 2 weight classes, moved from 108, skipped 112, and ended up fighting at 115, and that's where he became champion. He dropped Cuadras. I actually drove out to that fight there in Phoenix and saw that fight live. He fought Rungvisai that summer, stopped Rungvisai, And then he's been on a tear ever since. He against the wishes of his team, against his own wishes. His team really wanted him to fight on the undercard of Canelo, and I don't remember who the opponent was, but they really wanted the exposure and they really wanted Bam to be on the undercard. It was one of his underwhelming performances, but nonetheless, he got the win. And then the real big event was Sonny Edwards. Sonny Edwards was signed to Matchroom, and that was a big, huge event. But the biggest win of his career, in my opinion, is against the Mexican champion, El Gallo Estrada. Francisco El Gallo Estrada stopped him with a body punch. So that was a great fight. And then just recently, he got a signature win in Riyadh versus another world champion in Puma Martinez. So my gut feeling tells me that if Matchroom really wanted to keep him, they would have already negotiated. So my feeling is that he's getting released from Matchroom. Well, technically he is released, but who does that leave? Who does that leave? Who does that leave for Bam Rodriguez to sign with? Golden Boy doesn't really make too much sense. Top Rank doesn't really make too much sense. They don't have a TV deal yet. PBC is kind of just flying under the radar, doing 1 or 2 fights a year. Most of their guys are getting floated to other platforms. We just saw Erickson Lubin versus Virgil Ortiz. So I really don't know where he goes from here. What other big promoter does he have the option to go to? Queensberry, Frank Warren. Nobody else comes to mind. He's still in relationship with manager Mr. Tekken, Mr. Honda from Tekken Promotions. So I'm just really, really curious about what options he has. I think there's a possibility. I don't know. Does he fight 1, 2 fight deals? Does he go one fight by one fight with whoever the highest bidder is? I really don't know. I don't see him signing with another big US promoter. I potentially see him staying a free agent and leaning on Turkey Al-Sheikh. And Turkey really likes him. That's what it sounds like. I would really like to see him and his brother, if his brother were to come out of retirement, fight in Japan. I don't know. Maybe Mr. Tekken can get him some fights in Japan. I don't know who the current world champions are. I don't know who has the other 2 belts at 115. I don't know how serious the move to 118 is for him. So all those are huge factors. But he definitely is on the pound for pound list. He's been on the pound for pound list for years. Ever since his not only his work with Cuadras, but his work against Rungvisai, and definitely against his signature win versus El Gallo Estrada. So I really like to see what happens with him. Robert not only is a trainer of 30 plus fighters, he also manages the majority of his fighters. Well, probably around 10 to 15 fighters. The fighters that he has that are the biggest name are Bam, manages Bam and trains Bam. Same with Raymond Murataya, Arturo Cárdenas. There's about 10 fighters that are signed over to his good friend Rick Meridian. And the fighters that are signed with Rick are fighters like Virgil Ortiz, Lindolfo Delgado, Misael Rodriguez. Some of them are skipping my mind, but a handful are there with Rick. He has about another 5 fighters signed to Split T Management. I think they're out of the Midwest. And Javier Zamarron, he's known as El Güerito. Javier Zamarron, I think he fights tonight or tomorrow right here, about 25 minutes north of San Diego. at the Pachanga Casino in Temecula. So Javier Zamarron, El Güerito, is signed to Split T. Um, Javier Martinez is signed to Split T. If I'm not mistaken, I want to say the fighter that's Santillan, but that's Santillan signed to Top Rank. I'm thinking of somebody else. So it'd be interesting to see what happens. Hopefully, Mikey played a big role. Mikey played a huge role in keeping Bam active. Mikey's retired now, so his connections aren't as active as they were when he was an active fighter. But he can always call in some favors to Al Heyman to get him some exposure or to get him some fight dates. You know, Matchroom did a really good job. He probably fought with Matchroom. Let me see, the Cuadras fight, two fights after that. Uh, the guy named Gonzalez and another guy named Christian. Then he fought the Sonny Edwards. That's 4. Uh, he fought Gallo Estrada. That's 5, and then he just fought this last fight in Saudi versus Puma Martinez. So that's 6. I really like Bam. He is really a throwback fighter. He says he wants to retire at 30 years old, which is really interesting to hear from a fighter. I think he's only 25. He just had a son. I think he has a daughter already. So I think the birth of his son is going to bring him a lot of motivation, and he definitely has the talent and the team behind him to continue winning world titles. Now there's big talks. Excuse me. There's always big talks of him fighting the huge names, Nakatani at 118 or 122, and then definitely there's always talks about him fighting Inoue, the monster, at 122, maybe 126. So hey, what's up, Bruce? Thank you for joining us. And so I'm just sitting here talking about what's next for Bam. I think if Eddie would wanted to sign him already, I think he would have negotiated prior to this fight. So technically, he's a free agent. I think Robert has enough connections with Bob Arum, Oscar De La Hoya, Eddie Hearn, and Al Heyman to do one-off deals. To do one-off deals, maybe 2-3 fight deals with the promoter, keep him flexible. Now, Robert did mention that they were happy with Eddie Hearn, but there were some things that could be improved, and that's like in any relationship. There's always room for improvement. There's always a breakdown in communication. There's so many people involved in management, in fighter liaisons, and just so many moving pieces in terms of boxing management and putting on shows. So my gut feeling tells me Eddie Hearn will not sign him again, but they ended on good terms as far as I know. So could they do work in the future? Absolutely. But where does he go from here? Does he move to 118? Does he capture those other 2 belts? I believe I believe that would have to be an international bout to capture those other belts. Sometimes people just refuse to fight. They say on social media that they want to fight you, but nothing comes to fruition. So it'd be really interesting to see what happens with Bam. He's 25 years old. Just welcomed his baby boy into this world. So congratulations, Bam. He's pretty much in the prime of his career. Yeah, he's surrounded by a great coach. Mr. Honda has supported him since his pro debut back in 2017, and he's just been a pound for pound champion waiting to happen. So I'm excited for him. There's a chance I might go see Robert in a week. He's hosting an event there at his gym in Moreno Valley from 3 to 7. They're opening up a nonprofit, is what it sounds like, or maybe they're creating a foundation to get help to some of the youth in the area and to get help to some of the veterans. It's from 3 to 7. I don't know the address off the top of my head. It might be the Moreno Valley Mall. And so I might be able to head down there and get some more information about where the direction is for Bam Rodriguez in his career. Um, the I don't think the excuses that existed 4 or 5 years ago exist anymore. People were worried about the weight class 108 and 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 the ability for him to be a what do you call it, a moneymaker. So I don't think those exist. I think he's proven that he is one of the best in the world, that he has tons of personality, that he can sell seats in San Antonio and then in Phoenix. Matchroom did a great job with him in Phoenix. He did very well there. He could bring him back to LA. I think he was in the LA card for Canelo on the undercard, but he's definitely not slowing down. It'd be smart for Robert just to approach everybody to see where those champions are at. I don't think any of the U.S. champions have deals with those champions that have the other two belts at 115. But it'd be interesting to see how close that Junto Nakatani fight is, or potentially a fight with the monster Inui. So that's all I got. I just wanted to come in here and chat real quick and see what you guys were up to on the day after Thanksgiving. Hopefully everybody had a safe Thanksgiving and got to spend time with their loved ones. If you didn't, then hopefully you got some time to do some of the things that you love. So once again, thank you for joining me. This was a quick little video to go live. I hadn't gone live in a really, really long time. I want to get a little bit better with the technology where I can share my screen. I should reach out to Dave from the 408 or Dave from the 702. He really does a really great job. His podcast is called Shoeshine. Go over to Shoeshine and go over to on his YouTube channel, and he does really good job posting videos on here and showing you stats and data and social media posts. I really need to sharpen my skills in those areas, and then we'll go from there. So thank you for joining me. Hopefully there's good news for Bam Rodriguez coming up soon, and hopefully I'll be able to get out to Robert and ask him a few questions about what direction that's going in. So thank you for joining me, and everybody stay safe.